Hi, I'm Dr. Lisa Olson from the Smart Weight Loss Coaching podcast. I've been working with Julia for almost 100 episodes now, and she has really helped me grow my podcast from basically just my parents, my husband and kids, and my sister as listeners to over 17,000 downloads. I mean, the amount that she expanded my audience went way beyond my expectations. She really blew my mind. I have quadrupled the number of downloads over the past 12 months. Julia has been so much more than just my podcast teacher. She has been like a partner to me, really taking an interest in my program and helping me more than I ever could have asked for. I highly recommend Julia.
How amazing is that? I am so grateful that Dr. Lisa shared her experience. And if her story resonated with you and you're thinking, wait, I want results like that too, that is exactly what we're doing inside the Podcast Growth Collective. It's the place for online business owners who want to turn podcasting into a powerful growth tool without the burnout and without guessing what to fix. If you're ready to stop spinning your wheels and finally start seeing results from your podcast, I would love to support you. Head to thepodcastteacher.com/collective to learn more and to join us. And now let's jump into today's episode. Welcome to Podcasting for Solopreneurs. I'm Julia Levine, aka the Podcast Teacher. As a former elementary school educator turned podcasting solopreneur, I'm here to teach you how to use your podcast to grow your online business. On this show, you'll learn proven strategies to boost your podcast's reach, attract more listeners, and ultimately turn those listeners into clients. Let's get started. Hey, and welcome back. Today, I have another pop episode for you. I have reviewed someone's podcast and have created a podcast optimization plan to make their podcast pop. If you are a current or aspiring podcaster, listen in as a fly on the wall for our conversation. I guarantee that you'll find something of value in this episode that you can apply to your current or future podcast. And if you'd like to chat with me about how we can make your podcast pop, you can schedule your own free call with me at thepodcastteacher.com/pop. Today, I'm talking with Chad Potts, host of the Rev RX podcast. He has a solid fan base, but wants to reach new listeners. We chat about how to optimize his show to show up in the search results for his ideal audience. If that sounds like something you want to, keep listening. Welcome, Chad, to Podcasting for Solopreneurs. It is so nice to have you here today.
Thanks so much. What a privilege it is to be here with you.
Thank you so much. I would love to set the stage a little bit and talk about your podcast, give a little context. So I'm going to recap what you said in the intake form that you provided to me. So you said that your podcast is the Rev RX podcast. Your audience consists of men and women who are tired of just surviving and want to learn how to thrive in all of life, body, mind, and soul. And your goal is to get more downloads and reach a wider audience. Is all of that still accurate? We're on the same page?
It is. Yes, ma'am.
Okay, fantastic. So I would love to start by having you set the scene, paint a picture for me. So if we fast forward 6 months, a year in the future, your podcast is doing quote unquote really well. Tell me what that looks like for you. What is this dream scenario that we're working towards?
Yeah, sure. So a little bit about me in the Rev RX part. So I'm a pastor and a pharmacist. So Rev RX, that's where that comes from. And so my goal is to really use my background in both of those areas because I see life maybe from a different perspective than a lot of people do. I have the medical knowledge, I have the soul care knowledge that comes with being a pastor. And so really helping people integrate all of life. A lot of times we want to work on one part of life, we want to work on a different part of life, and really seeing that they're all related. And so what that looks like for me, I want to be the go-to resource for, all things thriving in life, body, mind, and soul. I want to be the go-to resource for people to really just go to and have those feel-good messages, learn to really just integrate all these different areas all at one time, and realize that we don't have to just survive in life. We can actually thrive. My goal is just to help people realize that there is something better. You don't have to settle for less. Yeah, you might be in the rut, you might be in the grind right now, but keep pushing. And here are some ways that maybe you can do that. And really, for me, it's about being that voice that brings hope to people, that helps them get out of the place where they are now and help them reach their goals, help them be the person that God created them to be. So if that's kind of maybe what you're asking there.
Yeah. So it sounds like your primary mission with the podcast is to make an impact, to be a resource for folks.
Sure.
In terms of you and why you are doing this, I'm trying to get a sense of where this is going. Is this like a passion project for you? Are you hoping to get coaching clients from this? Is there an end goal? And if so, what is that?
Yeah. So yes and yes. Yes, it is a passion project. It started that way. And, it really is a passion of mine. However, I've recently started a coaching business. I coach men, particularly, how to thrive in body, mind, and soul. And I'm wanting to, I've got a soft launch of that. I'm going to have a hard launch here coming up in the next couple of months. But I'm hoping that as people see me as the go-to voice for, all things faith, family, and health, that's kind of my tagline: faith, family, and health, that they will begin to say, I want to learn more about this life that he talks about. And, particularly men come into my coaching world and be able to get some clients that way. So yeah, it's kind of a two-part goal. It started as a passion project, but now that I've launched my coaching, I see it as possibly an avenue for obtaining clients as well.
Okay, great. That's helpful context. So, from the business perspective, which I'm going to kind of set on the back burner for the majority of our conversation, since it sounds like that may be a little bit further down the road. But as that process evolves, just make sure you're thinking about the transition from someone listening to becoming a coaching client. And how does that happen? Your call to action is probably, let's hop on a call to see if we're a right fit, a free discovery call type of thing. And just making sure that the content that you're providing, you're weaving in, with my coaching clients, I do this, so it's mentioned frequently.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense.
All right. So I think that, you're doing a lot of great things. You've got some great guests on the podcast. And from my perspective, it seems like the biggest kind of barrier is just the clarity around who you're talking to exactly and what you're talking about.
Okay.
And I can see how you think that you're being clear by saying thriving, mind, body, and soul. But I'm trying to think in more tangible terms,
Okay.
in more terms that people would be searching for. So things that they are looking for resources about. And it also seems like maybe you're trying to talk to too many people, which is definitely a problem that I have encountered myself.
Sure.
Those of us that are helpers, we want to help everyone that we possibly can for sure, but it kind of dilutes your messaging.
Yeah, it can't be everything to everybody. So
Exactly, exactly. And so I would love to help you kind of refine that one person, that one avatar that you're talking to, whether or not that is a man going with the coaching business or not, that's kind of for you to decide. But I think it's more important to determine characteristics and pain points. So in terms of tangible things and things that they might be typing into their search bar, they're probably not typing in, how do I thrive? Right?
Yep.
They're probably looking for something more specific, either a specific um, pain that they want to solve, that they want help getting out of,
Sure.
a specific problem that they want to solve, or a specific goal that they're trying to achieve that they're looking for help with.
Okay.
So, do you have any off the top of your head? I know I'm just throwing this at you, but do you have any ideas of what maybe some of those more tangible words might be that they might be typing in?
Yeah. I try to really hone in on a couple of different areas, and my guests kind of reflect that a little bit. A large part of what I do is faith based, so like how to grow in your faith, that sort of thing. There's also a component of family. And so a lot of that would be how to be a better dad, how to be a better mom, how to handle kids. Um, you know, open ended there.
Yeah.
How to be the best husband, how to be the best wife. Um, and then there's the aspect of health too, because I do pull in some some holistic health people. So it's how does health impact the rest of my life? How do I become more healthy? How do I eat better? How do I move better? That sort of thing. So those are kind of some of the key search points that I'm maybe looking for, and that's a broad range.
Mhm.
The challenge I have, and I agree with you 100%. I feel like I need help in kind of somewhat niching down, but I also have to keep in mind too that all right, part of what I think makes me unique is the fact that I do see some of these broad things in a way that integrates together.
Mhm.
The pastor and the pharmacist in me can pull together, life is not just soul, life is not just body, life is not just mindset, but it's all of those things together. And so, it's hard for me to kind of keep that unique, aspect of myself without being too broad. So,
Yes, and I completely understand 100%, and I hear you on that. And I in no way mean to imply that you need to remove part of your content or, go in a different direction. But what I am trying to help you with is trying to help you get people in the door to visit your house, your podcast house. And so
yeah,
and then once they come in, they love your approach. They love how you integrate all these different aspects. And so they stick
yeah,
around.
yeah,
So what we need to find out is what's going to entice them, kind of that freshly baked cookie smell of, an open real estate house. Like what's going to
yeah.
draw them in the door to make them come investigate?
Yep. And that's perfect. And I think that's exactly what I need. You hit the nail on the head because, it's like people who listen really like it, but how do I get more people to find me?
Yeah. So I think one of the biggest things that will be to your advantage is to add a subtitle to the title of your podcast.
Okay.
And if you've listened to my show, I've talked about this a bunch, but episode 66 in particular is a really good one to go back to if you want more details about a subtitle. But essentially, it's just adding more words to your title field, just the text part.
Okay.
And it's there for this search engine optimization, this keyword to get people to find your show in search and bring them in the door. So when you're saying, welcome to the Rev RX podcast, you don't have to change that.
Sure.
But we're putting those additional words into the text field so that they show up for the search. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I love that because one of the things I struggle with is I'm like, all right, if somebody's going to find the Rev RX podcast, they're going to have to search the Rev RX podcast.
Right.
And so that really, that I hadn't thought about subtitles, but that opens up the searchability
Yeah.
and allows me to pop up for more than just the Rev RX podcast. So,
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And so, I did listen to one of your episodes. I browsed the titles and took a look at, your business as a whole and everything that you offer. And so I, just like you just described, I did come to the conclusion that faith is kind of the underlying common denominator of everything that you talk about.
right.
So I drafted 2 different subtitles for you. You may love them, you may hate them, but I'm hoping to give you a starting point.
Yeah, I like that.
So the first one that I came up with is Rev RX. And I would also say that in the official title text, I would take out the word the and take out the word podcast.
Okay.
Because that is hurting your search because so many people have those 2 words in their titles.
Makes sense.
So again, you don't have to change the way you say it. Just take it out of the text.
Right.
So Rev RX, Christian life coaching for self-development, family, and health.
Okay.
That's option 1 for you there. And I'm very strategically using some of those words.
Yeah.
So Christian is a word people might be typing in Christian podcasts, podcasts for Christians, things like that.
Mm-hmm.
Life coaching is another one. Self-development is a big search term. Family is a good one. It's a little broad. Health, kind of same thing. But I'm also trying to stick with the theme that you already have of the faith, family, health, that in there.
I like that.
So that's option number 1. And then very similar, but just slightly different words, Bible-based self-development for family, health, and faith.
I like that too.
Yeah. So hopefully that gets the wheels turning. You most certainly do not have to use either one of those word for word, but that's the kind of thing that we're going for here.
Yeah, that's really good. And I think that solves a lot of problems right there, just with that one tip. Genius.
Well, thank you. I think it would make a huge, huge difference.
Yeah, just finding me.
Yeah, absolutely. And then kind of along the same lines, when we think of, your podcast shows up in the search results. So let's say we get your subtitle dialed in, you've got some really great keywords in there, you're popping up in the search results when someone types in those words, then they need to choose your show from the thumbnails that they're given. And so I would suggest some revision of your cover art.
Okay.
Right now, podcast is like the biggest focus word.
Doesn't stand out, does it?
When you're looking at a sea of podcasts, it's pretty obvious that it's a podcast. So we don't,
Never thought about that. Okay.
we don't need to draw attention to that. And that's a super common thing that people do. So don't feel bad about doing that. That's totally common. And kind of the same thing with the imagery of the microphone on there, kind of in the smack dab in the center of the cover. What I would love to see is maybe some kind of like 3-circle, like Venn diagram type of thing, where it has, faith, family, health, and like the Rev RX is in the middle, where like you bring all those together. That was just one idea that I had.
Love it.
I'm not the most visually creative person, but just something to indicate, because if they don't know you already, Rev RX doesn't really tell them a whole lot.
What does that mean? Sure.
Yeah. So just kind of revamping that a little bit, de-emphasizing the word podcast, and giving more context from the thumbnail, because just like that old saying of we don't judge a book by its cover, we totally do.
You're right.
And we totally do podcasts as well.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, it's one of those you have to kind of get outside of what you know.
Yes.
To be true, and put yourself in the shoes of someone who doesn't know you at all.
Exactly.
And I like the way that you're kind of lining up my thinking to do just that. So I appreciate that.
Wonderful. It's my pleasure. So that's where I would start with your podcast. I think those are kind of the 2 most important things for you to do first and foremost.
Yeah, super, super helpful.
So given all of that, how do you feel about the plan moving forward?
I'm glad we met and I'm glad we talked. I feel like this helps me so much. I feel like I've done okay with like the people who know me, I think watch my podcast. How do I then now venture into those who have no idea who I am or what I do? And word of mouth can go only so far. I need to be able to show up in people's searches and make them want to click my podcast. And you've helped me do just that. So can't wait to get to work and really start redesigning some of those things and see how they work.
Wonderful. Well, it has been my pleasure to help you. And before we wrap up today, if people are hearing you, they're resonating with you, where can they go to connect with you further?
So my website is www.manalivecoaching.com. You put a backslash in a podcast, you get to find my podcast there. It's the Rev RX podcast. I'm on social media as well, chatbots. I'm on Instagram and Facebook, and you can also find me Rev RX on Facebook as well. So yeah, been fun. Thank you.
All right, that's all for today. If you're interested in the intersection of faith, family, and health, be sure to check out Chad's show, the Rev RX podcast. And if you'd like to chat with me about how we can make your podcast pop, you can schedule your own free call with me at thepodcastteacher.com/pop. Until next time, happy podcasting.